data. So till now we have implemented SCD type 1 using change data capture stage and change apply stage. So it has the latest and like current information only. So history information we are losing it. So when we implement change apply stage. So to capture the history information, what and all required. So we required CDC stage and we need to separate the insert and edit records. Later we need to update our data warehousing application, that particular table. Okay, and also SCD type 3 we will implement. So just it will have only current and partial information, partial history data. Okay, it has current and partial history data. Okay. History data. Okay, so now let's open the job. So we're able to see the data here. So here I have given the active records. Record indicator as 1. 1 in the sense like active record. So let me execute the SQL here. Select star from SCD type 2. Okay, so this is the data. So now what I will do is, let's delete all this data first, so that I can tell you how to implement SCD type 2. Okay, so then you can commit it. Okay, so now let's see the data, and I mean nothing will be there. Okay, so now I will run this job. Click on OK. Here I considered 5 fields extra. Okay, so apart 3 fields extra. Sorry, not 5 fields. ID, name, and location, and start date and end date, and also record indicator. So what is the record indicator in the sense like active records means like the where the customer is located. So that information will call as active record. The record indicator for this one is 1. Okay, and start date and end date. Okay, yeah, right. So let's run this job. So here I have defined this is source data, this is data warehouse data. So here I'm capturing the active data. So where the SCD type 2 table name, select star from table name, where the indicator is 1. So here every time it will capture the active data. Okay, so now here we will consider the same thing what you have defined. We are dropping the copy records and delete records, only considering edit and insert records. Okay, click on OK. Then here we are separating the only update records into one file, like where you will give the constraint like change code is 1, and all the other codes are other values like 1 and 3 will to another file, separate file, insert and update. Now click on OK. Click on OK. So it is the update here, and this is the insert and update here. Okay, so let's run this job. The reason I am separating the records is for update records, we need to absolute the data because that is a world change, some change, the world thing that need to be updated in our system. and new edited information is coming from the source. So that has to insert as a fresh record again. Okay. So let me run the job. Okay. So click on run. Okay. So here, so every time, no, see, there is no data in the warehouse. So every entry here it will consider as a fresh record. Okay. So every entry here it is considered as a fresh record. Okay. So now we need to update our system. So then we can run this data warehouse, this one update. So if you are running update information, so directly you can run since it is initial load, you can load run the insert and updates directly itself. So normally we need to update the records. So if you run this one is also okay, because since there is no data, as part of the process, better to run this one. Okay, so here, so what and all the fields I have considered, I will let you know in this job. So here I'm considering the other fields also, I will let you know. So insert and updates. And so in updates, what happens is I'm closing the end date as current date. So that means that transaction is closed for, so up to yesterday customer stayed in so and so place. I mean today. So now new entry is came into the picture. Okay. So here what happens is, okay, so here what happens is, so the end date is modified as a current date. So I'm passing, and record indicator is 0. So previously that will become the previous location for update file. So okay, and coming to inserts and updates again. So here end date will be 999 December 31st. That is the active records, and start date will be today's date. So you can give start date as today's date. So that you can give here, or you can give in the next job also. Okay, so I have given in the next job. So there we will see. So and record indicator for new records and update records, modified update records, here is record indicator is 1. Okay, now click on OK. So this we have triggered. So let me trigger again. Okay. So now we need to run the update statement, right? So you can see here what and all the transformation. So nothing has been straight passed. So earlier we ended as updated date. So that we are updating here with update syntax in the table. Okay. So we are using append. Click on OK. Now save, compile, and run this job. Okay. So since there is no transactions, so it's the initial load, right? So updates will be 0. Now I will insert the record. So here in the insert, what I am trying to do, I'm inserting the records, and start date I mentioned as current date, and end date and record indicator I have given in the earlier job. Like end date is 9/9 December 31st, and record indicator is 1. Okay. So now click on OK. So here I'm considering. Okay. So here I'm inserting. Click on OK. Run the job now. Run the job. Okay, so let's view the data. So here we can view the data in here itself, or we can view here itself also. Control here. So we're able to view the data, right? So let it make in order so that it will be clear. Order by ID. Okay. Control A. Oh, here two phrases are having. Okay. Okay. So now I can see. So it is in order. Okay. So now what I will do is already data is there in the warehouse. So now I will modify the data that is coming from source. Okay. So let's delete this. Let's close this. Before also I will. So here before I will modify. So here I will move to ID number 11. Currently is in Pakistan. 22 in Melbourne. So here I will move to this person to some other location. France. Okay. Jack moved to France from Melbourne. Okay. So ID number 33 has moved to UK. And Perth 55 and everything is remains the same. And here here I will make some change. I will consider Sri Lanka. Okay. And rest of the records will be the same, and I will insert 44, record number 44. Okay, so it is not there. So before it was there, right? So let me check that. Lampard, Canada. Okay. So let me update this here in the source file. Okay. So let's run this job again. So I will run this job again. So here, what are the changes happen? No, that will be reflected. So here every record is active record. So now every record should compare with the source data that is coming. Now we can see three inserts. Okay, so we can see here in the output, update records are three. Okay, so these are updates. France, ID number 22 moved to France. With okay, so the end date we need to consider as today's date, and record indicator is 0. And UK, okay, ID 33 moved to UK, right? So that has to be, the earlier record has to be updated. Okay. So for all update records will be the end date as today's date and record indicator as 0. Okay. So now let's see the updates, insert and updates again. So France record indicator is 1 and end date is 999 December 31st. And similarly for other records also. Okay. So 44 is a new record that is coming in the warehouse system. Okay. Now what I will do? Let's run this update job. Okay. So we'll update the data. Okay. So now let's run the insert. So 3 records has been updated. Let's check here in the system. Okay. So wherever ID is 0, you can see those records. I mean, end date has been absoluted with today's date. Okay. So now we need to insert the new records. Okay. So this whole records has been updated. Now we need to insert the new records. So now this is the job to insert the new records. So run this job again. Okay. So now let's execute the SQL here. Now we can see. So ID number 11, no change. ID number 22, earlier he was stayed in Melbourne. Now he moved to France, right? And similarly for ID number 33, he stayed in USA. Now he is in UK. And similarly, ID number 77. Earlier he was in Pakistan. Now he moved to Sri Lanka. Malik Afzal. Okay. So this is the way here we can see the both current data as well as history data, right? So here we are able to see both the data, right? Say yes or no. So we are able to see both current data and as well as the history data, right? Okay. So this is the way to implement SCD type 2. Okay. So any questions here? Okay. Any questions? If no questions means I will move to SCD type 3. So SCD type 3 works on a syntax basis. So like we can use this delete statement, delete from this particular table name SCD type 2, SCD underscore type 2. Okay, so where extract year from start date, STRT date. Okay, so that should be equals to extract year from current date -3. Okay. So that means what? So we are minusing. So whenever we are considering if it is year matches, no, we are removing that data. Okay, and also we can add month also. Extract month is equal to this month, and you can it's the same way we can use for implementing this SCD type 3. So it will have only 3 years data like that. So they want to maintain 3 years data. So here 3 years data means partial history data and current data. So this is the way to implement SCD type 3